justice for Pahalgam victims. The 26, those who were gunned down in cold blood by the butchers, those who came from Pakistan. Pakistani terrorists have been tracked, cornered and gunned down by the security forces in Jammu and Kashmir. 3 terrorists have been gunned down in an encounter with the security forces in Ledwas near Jammu and Kashmir, Srinagar. The army has said, in fact, the army official X account of the Indian Army's Chinar Corps has posted that the security forces have launched Operation Mahadev. 3 terrorists have been neutralized after an intense firefight. The operation continues. The opposition, remember, has been repeatedly cornering the government over their inability to nab the terrorists behind the attack. At least one of the 3 is confirmed as the mastermind of the Pahalgam terror attack. Remember, it's been more than 3 months, 97 days. It was legitimate question. How did these people come into India? How were they able to go back? Where have they been hiding? At least one of the perpetrators, the terrorists who actually held the gun and carried out this massacre in Pahalgam, has now been neutralized. That is confirmed by the security forces. The operation is still ongoing. The security forces believe there could be other terrorists in this vicinity, and that's what they are doing at this moment. They are combing the entire vicinity under Operation Mahadev. The development, remember, comes on the day when the Parliament is discussing Operation Sindoor, India's response to this massacre. Remember, India punished punitive strikes took place in Pakistan, where the terror infrastructure, the head of the terror snake in Pakistan, was dealt a severe blow by the Indian armed forces during Operation Sindoor. Now, the operation is still ongoing, says the Indian Army. Let's listen in to some reactions.
अभी ऑपरेशन इज स्टिल कंटिन्यू, ठीक है ना. इट वाज एन ऑपरेशन विच इज क्वाइट प्रोलॉन्ग्ड फॉर ए लॉन्ग टाइम, ठीक है ना. दैट इज स्टिल कंटिन्यूइंग, बट इन विच जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस, पैरामिलिट्री एंड आर्मी, they have an exchange of fire in the higher reaches. So as per the interior reports, 3 bodies are being observed and seems to be neutralized. So this is all, but still it is operation, so I would not like to divulge much at this moment. We will share details with you at an opportune time, ठीक है ना, because it takes some time to get more.
Let me very quickly go across to my colleague Nazir Masoodi, who has been in fact getting us all the latest developments from the ground. Nazir broke this story first here on NDTV earlier this day. Quite an important and significant day to achieve this success, Nazir. What do we know at this moment of what's happening on the ground? Because the army says the operation is ongoing.
Yeah, well, it has been more than 9 hours. This encounter has ended and 3 terrorists from Pakistan have been killed. But there's certain confusion or uncertainty who they are. Well, the names are circulating, but security force sources tell us that it's Abu Hamza, it is Suleiman, and it is this Yasir. 2 names, Yasir and Suleiman, they had cropped up. They were seen behind Pahalgam terror attack. But the question is, are they the same Yasir and Suleiman? Because terrorists operate in different names. These are not the real names. They operate under different names. And since morning, well, the sources, security force have been unofficially saying it, but official, they were waiting for an official word. As we heard IGP Kashmir a while back, he's talking about, ascertaining identity, and it's going to take time. Army was supposed to address a press conference this evening. That has been postponed and it may happen tomorrow. So officially, we'll have to wait. Are they the same terrorists who are behind killing of 26 innocent people in Pahalgam, or this is some other group? Because names are always misleading. When it comes to the terrorists from Pakistan, they don't operate under their real names and their real address. They always operate under fake names, whatever name it may be. And one name is being shared by many terrorists. So the point is this the same group? That is still, it may be the same, but the fact is we have to wait for the official confirmation. That may come tomorrow, but unofficially they have been saying at least 2 are the same people who have been, who were involved in Pahalgam attack.
Right.
Let me show you where this operation happened. This is the Mahadev peak. And this operation was named after Mahadev Peak. And the operation happened in the lap of Mahadev Peak. These three terrorists were hiding somewhere here. Operation was actually going on for last almost 1 month or the 6 weeks, because since 18th June, this Dachigam Park was closed for the public since there was an operation and army had intelligence some terror movement, militant movement is going on in this area. So this morning there was a contact and 3 terrorists were killed.
Okay.
One AK rifle, one M4 carbine, American carbine was recovered, besides other arms and ammunition. But the big question is, while it's all reports since morning, security force sources talking about that they may have avenged the killing of innocent killings of Pahalgam, because since last 3 months, security force have been launching relentless operation, but we'll have to wait for some more time before we get the official confirmation. That is the press conference by the army and police, where they are going to confirm whether they are indeed the same Suleiman and the Yasir.
Right, and we are expecting that important press conference or the briefing from the media by the army tomorrow. Now, Nazir, thank you for getting us all those details and a sight at least of the place where this operation has been conducted. We are getting some very important and big breaking news here on Nationwide at 6 at this moment. Viewers, in fact, let me very quickly go across to Vishnu Shom, because at this moment Vishnu Shom has been able to get some very important key details of how these terrorists were hunted down. We are getting some important information about Vishnu, some inside details of this operation, of how security forces operated in tough terrain to corner and neutralize these terrorists.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go through some exclusive details which we can break on NDTV at this stage. The operation itself involved a great deal of technical intelligence. They won't obviously tell us the nature of that technical intelligence, but I would assume it would include the potential of intercepts of communications. I would assume that it would involve the use of drones with night vision devices, possibly soldiers on the ground monitoring a particular area. There have been soldiers who deployed in the higher reaches of the Dachigam forest now for a while, and it's these forces, these soldiers deployed in these areas, that progressively homed in on these terrorists who were hiding in this camp of theirs. The exchange of fire took place at 9 a.m. this morning approximately. The area extremely rugged and forested, as you can see from the images so far. Now, the encounter site itself is linked to a ridge, and that ridge leads on to Pahalgam. Remember, it was in Pahalgam where those 26 innocent civilians were killed. There have been large-scale operations along this ridge for the last several months, as a result of which the terrorists were never in a position to actually settle in one area. However, the fact that they were moving in that terrain over a period of time indicates quite clearly that they were very well experienced in forest craft, which involves potentially training done by special forces. The encounter continues in that they're looking to see if there are any more terrorists in that area. They are also, they've got photographs now of the terrorists who've been eliminated. That's being shared with the National Investigating Agency. And on the basis of what the NIA says, we'll have further confirmation. But at this juncture, security forces strongly believe that at least one of the terrorists, Suleiman, thought to be the mastermind of the Pahalgam terror attacks, has been eliminated.
Vishnu Shom, thank you so much for joining us with these very important details of how this Operation Mahadev was conducted. Remember, this has been a big question, and in fact, questions were being raised on the entire security apparatus, the grid security, a spectrum which is in fact in place in Jammu and Kashmir, of how these terrorists were able to infiltrate and where did they vanish from the face of the earth for the last 97 days. At least at this moment, sources telling us one of the butchers, the mastermind, has been eliminated, neutralized in this operation by the security forces. Major General SVP Singh is joining us at this moment. We are also, in fact, on the show, we have Captain DK Sharma. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for speaking to us at this moment, sir. Major General Singh, let me begin by asking you, Vishnu was giving out some very important details about how this operation was conducted. It's taken 97 days. And it also tells you how difficult this entire terrain in which the forces have been operating is that it took them this much amount of time to try and corner and then, of course, neutralize one of the butchers of Pahalgam, sir.
Thank you, Ankit. It's a very pertinent point. Vishnu briefed us very well. But I want to say that this Dachigam forest area covers about 141 square kilometers. And, this is hedged between the Zabran and the Mahadev ridges. And that's why it's been named also appropriately Operation Mahadev. Now, what I would say is our security forces, post Pahalgam, 22nd April, they had been shadowing. I would like to say they were shadowing. It was not that nothing was being done. There has been a lot of issue raised in the public. But, these operations in such thick forests, very difficult terrain, they're covering altitude between 1,600 meters to 4,250 meters. That means apart from jungle, it is a high altitude heights on which our people have operated. Now, having said that, they were shadowing, and basically when you are shadowing, the most important thing is picking up the communication of these terrorists. That is the first indication you get. And that is where I think this modus operandi adopted by our security forces, patience has paid off. Signal communication has been there. I'm told there were Chinese radio sets on which we've been able to pick up the signal. That is one.
Right.
Secondly is also the OGWs. You see, how are they operating and surviving in these areas is because they get support from the sleeper cells from the OGWs.
Yes.
Now, that is a matter of great concern. But this operation, Ankit, has been done on good intelligence, good operational work, good cooperation between the army and the JK police. In this case, 24 Rashtra Rifles and 4 Paras.
Yes.
They have done a tremendous job, an excellent operation to have nabbed the 3 terrorists.
All right,
You also
Captain,
covered.
I'll just come to you, sir. Captain Sharma, let me bring you in as well on this. Like we are speaking, and we have seen these visuals of the hideout. It is a high altitude area. It seems that the terrorists had enough ammunition, food and other supplies to dig in their heels for a long time. They could have, in fact, conducted another terror strike if not neutralized by the security forces.
Well, Ankit, first of all, huge congratulations to the army that they have brought some kind of closure to this huge effort which you are and Vishnu brought out 97 days. Let me tell you, as Sir is also, explaining it, the terrain is so tough. It is like looking for a needle in a haystack. And you saw the heights and the valley and the, forestation over there. It would have been a very, very massive, coordinated, kind of an operation where you had drones, you had manpower, foot on ground, and patience, which he is talking. A huge amount of responsibility was on the army, not to lose anyone, but to check each and every spot over there. And somehow today morning, when the gunshots declared their position, that means they had army somewhere near, or maybe the drones had detected some moment. And this is how, and when you're saying that they would have been, they would have parked themselves for how many days, we don't know. What was the route from where they came? Was the area around them mined? There are many factors. That is why I'm saying that without losing a single man from our side, if we have neutralized these 3, rest of them, whosoever is there, now they are cornered, and it is only a matter of time that the army will take very, very gradual and calculated moves will be done.
Right.
And now probably more with the drones and technology rather than putting the man in front, so that there is no collateral, damage to us.
There was, like you used the word, sir, closure. There was, the entire country, in fact, was united when Pakistan was being punished. The terror infrastructure was, Pakistan was being targeted after Pahalgam, but there was still that, pinching pain about the terrorists, those who were in fact involved in this operation, those who conducted this operation, in fact terror strike. And today there is some closure as far as the families and the entire country is concerned. We can heal from
here. But Ankit, I want to just add one thing.
Yes,
you
sir.
see, this operation started on April 20th, and you see the amount of tasking for the intelligence agencies.
Yes.
There was something which the Lieutenant Governor also said, but now joining the dots and moving gradually and now
Yes.
reaching to this stage, you can well imagine the amount of patience which the JK police,
I completely agree.
the army and other agencies which have shown, and huge coincidence that today when the debate is on, we have got some proof that here they are.
Absolutely.
Now the final
Sir, I'm
press
sorry,
conference by the army.
there is a breaking news that I have to shift my focus onto, but the important thing is, yes, you're right, the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir had said that there has been intelligence failure. For that, of course, accountability needs to be fixed so that it doesn't happen again, but the forces coming out on the top, in fact, and successfully executing this massive operation. Congratulations to the Indian Army for this fantastic job, well done, of hunting down these terrorists. Gentlemen, thank you so much for speaking to us at this moment.